Matthew chapter 7, verse 13 through 14. Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Verse 14. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, a few there be that find it. I want to give all praises and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash. Forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Now in this lesson I'm going into, we must complete the straight gate on the narrow road first. Okay, we must complete the straight gate on the narrow road first before we enter into the new covenant. Okay, the straight gate is the process. That's the process. The straight gate, man. Okay, period, man. All right, your faith is on trial in the straight gate. You have to pass that first. That's why it says, he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. The gospel going throughout the world, right? We all have to endure first, okay, to enter into the new covenant. All right, let's go to Acts chapter 14, verse 22. It says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. Right, we are in the time of exhorting each other, okay, in the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. We have to exhort, okay, because there's a lot going on in that straight gate. All right, that narrow path is dangerous. You could fall off. Okay, so if you're in the new covenant, like these other groups are saying, IUIC, et cetera, okay, if you're in the new covenant, then that new covenant cannot be reversed, meaning you're already saved. You are already changed if you believe that. And we know that's not the case. We're still in these mortal bodies trying to make it, trying to hold on to the faith, okay, because the just shall live by faith. We shall be justified by faith. So we're trying to get that together within this grace, okay, which is part of the process. All right, back to Acts. It says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Right. We have to go through the tribulations first. Okay. And through those tribulations, we have to be exhorted. We have to overcome first. What did Yahushua say out of his mouth? Okay. In me you shall have peace. That's the faith in Yahushua. In me you shall have peace, but in the world you shall have tribulation. But be of good comfort, be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Okay. Period. Yahushua had to overcome, all right, to be in his position. Okay, the angels beamed him up, took him to the Father, right, and they worshiped him, okay, and honored him for his walk on the earth. That had to be completed first. All right, and we have to do the same. We have to complete it in the narrow path, okay, in that dangerous spot. All right, let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, verse 2. And it says, and he said unto me, up, Esdras, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, speak on, my God. Then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow, and like a river. Verse 5, who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? That sea represents the kingdom of heaven, okay? It says, who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? So you can't jump over the narrow, okay, and just hop into the new covenant. You can't do that. Okay, you have to go through the path of tribulation, through much tribulation. That much tribulation is in the narrow path. It was designed from the heavens to be that way for us, period. Okay. All right. That is clear as day. Let's read it again. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and rule it, the kingdom of heaven? That's what it represents. If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? Verse 6. There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. Right. Okay, because in the kingdom of heaven, in the new covenant, it's all good things. Ain't gonna be no bad things, man. Right now, we got to deal with the bad things and have faith through it. Okay, we have to deal with the bad things, the bitter, and have faith through the bitter. Okay, in the narrow path. All right, so that when we are changed into the new covenant, then we can enjoy all the good things with no bitterness, no pain, no sorrow. It's all going to be wiped away, like the scriptures talk about. Verse 7, it says, the entrance thereof is narrow and set in a dangerous place to fall. So we are still in the straight gate, period, man, on the narrow path, which is a dangerous place, like it says here, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left hand a deep water. Okay, do you hear that, man? Very small path in between. Let's go to verse 8. And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. Right, man, a dangerous place. That's why many are called and few are chosen. It's for a reason, man. Everybody is not going to want to go through this path, okay, to the new covenant. This is the process. So when we say from the apostles on down, when we say that we are in between the old and the new covenant, the narrow path is that place in between, full of tribulation. Okay, it is a dangerous place. All right. And when you're going through that path, though it's so small, when you're going through it, you're falling, you're getting back up. Okay, you confessing your sins. You're going through the process of being accepted of Yahweh Shem Shai to make it to the new covenant, to make it to the chariot, so that you can be changed, right? And then the law will be put in your inward parts. You ain't got to worry no more after that. Okay, you are officially in the new covenant at that point. We are not at that point yet. We still got to fight. Okay, ain't no fighting in the new covenant. You're already changed. You ain't got nothing to fight about. You just living. Come on now. All right, back at verse 8. And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before. See, the problem is these camps do not want to teach you about the danger that's set before us. They don't want to teach you that. Okay, that's why they try to ignore Jacob's trouble. Okay, and the mark of the beast in that time that's coming. They try to ignore that. They don't break that down. Okay, but that is part of the narrow path. That is part of the straight gate. That is part of testing your faith, especially during that time in Jacob's trouble when all hell break loose. Okay, so we are teaching this the right way, man. It's the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai that's correcting these other groups through us. That's what's happening, man. Okay, so it is very clear. Let's read it again, verse 9. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, talking about the kingdom of heaven, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, the straight gate, the narrow path, how shall he receive this inheritance? Right. How shall he come into the new covenant? Okay, because when you receive the inheritance, okay, that means you have been changed, which is the new covenant, for you to be changed. This is not hard, man. Now, the Lord can make it hard for you, but it's not hard to understand. You're going through the narrow path, the straight gate, which is the process in between the old covenant and the new covenant. Okay, and that pathway, that narrow path, leads to the broad, where the kingdom is at. Okay, and the broad is the new covenant. But right now, we're on the path to the broad. Okay, set in a dangerous place. You got this fire, this hot ass fire on one side. You got this deep water on the other side. You got water splashing on you. All right, you got the heat. You can feel the heat from the fire. And the only thing that's keeping you in that middle, though it's a small, thin line, is the spirit, the wisdom of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the Holy Spirit, the light from the heavens, man, is the only thing that's keeping you in that narrow path, even though it's tough. Even though you keep falling and getting back up and holding on to that precious faith. Okay, in Yahushai. Okay, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is strengthening you to stay in that narrow path. We are being guided to the new covenant. It is obvious. Okay, you ain't got to go to no store and look at the ingredients on the back to make sure ain't no pork in something. All right, that's not going to happen in the new covenant, man. Okay, this is not hard. Verse 10, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, even so also is Israel's portion, because for their sake I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. Right, man. So we got to go through the painful part. Okay. The narrow, painful part, man, it's not over yet. Okay. We have to complete that. We have to endure through the narrow path. Okay. Even though we getting splashed by the water, we getting hit by a little bit of the fire, the heat, and we like, oh shit. You know, you get scared at times. You got to pick yourself up sometimes, man, from a lower state. That's why it says be patient when they are changed to a lower state. So you in the narrow path, and at times you get changed to a lower state, and now you got to be patient, okay, and pray to the Lord and fast and do what you got to do and receive that strength from the heavens to do what? To stay on the narrow path, to get to the broad, to get to the new covenant, which is the kingdom of heaven, with no pain, no anguish, no bullshit at all, no more forever. All right. Period. So with that, I hope you're edified. I want to give all praises and honor to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakah, Qudash. Forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to Yaakam out there that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.